So today on Daff's Dishes, we're going to look at a nice healthy salad that one can prepare for the coming week. Now, with High Rocks coming up, it's the sort of thing that can be prepped, added to some couscous and a little protein, some meat or some tuna, and eaten at whatever time. It's also particularly good if you get back from the pub quite late at night and are looking for a healthy, nutritious snack, as opposed to the ubiquitous kebab. So I will very shortly go and gather the ingredients together, place them here so you may see what's going on. But until then, I need coffee. So we have now assembled ingredients. First of all, I'm going to be cooking with couscous. Other brands are available from a selection of fine retail establishments. For the salad itself, it is a variation on a tabbouleh, a Middle Eastern type dish. So I'm requiring tomatoes, as many as I think will be required, a cucumber, a lemon, and a red onion. I would recommend red onion as opposed to any other onion, as it is not quite so strong and produces a nice milder taste as one takes the dish forward. I will also be using some herbs, but it's pouring with rain at the moment, so I'm not going to go and get them from the garden just yet, but I will show you what I am using. In terms of equipment, dirty great knife is always a good thing. Not actually really needed for this particularly, because I have one of these big cutty boxes. It's like magic and saves me chopping my fingers off. More importantly, coffee. So the first thing I'm going to do is prepare the couscous. Very simple. I have 1 cup of couscous, 1.5 cups of chicken stock. Stock is added to the couscous. You could always add the couscous to the stock. It simply depends on the relative sizes of the containers. If I tried adding this amount of couscous to this amount of stock in this container, I would have had a catastrophe, and no one wants this. Once added in the appropriate container, a quick stir for the couscous. There we go. And then that can be placed to one side to infuse and take up all of that lovely chickeny flavour. Obviously other flavours are available for the vegetarian and vegan amongst you, although I've never seen tofu stock. I can only imagine how bad that would be. In terms of quantities for our vegetables, there is no hard and fast setting on this. I personally use about half of a cucumber, 3 or 4 tomatoes depending on their size, so half a red onion, and 2 what can only be described as loose handfuls of herbs, depending on what I'm using. I'm hoping I can get some parsley and some mint from my garden. I'm not going to show you the chopping up of the vegetables because I think that may be a little tedious, and I'm not sure how people like Jamie Oliver rabbit on filling in those spaces. Just to give you an idea of the size that you need to be achieving with your cuts, sort of looking at very small, sort of couple of mil across cubes. And personally, I always find your tomatoes and your cucumber, when left, will continue to leak juices all over the place. Terrible thing. So before actually making them into the salad and putting them into the final storage container, some way of allowing them to actually drain a little, so that you don't end up with a very soggy bottom, because nobody wishes that. So, whilst I've been waiting for my vegetables, and in fact, you'd also need to remember that a tomato is a fruit, and herein we can impart a little knowledge to people, and that is the difference between wisdom and knowledge. So, for example, knowledge is knowing that the tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting the bloody thing in a fruit salad. Anyway, I have now collected from my garden, and I do genuinely have a little herb garden out here, some nice fresh parsley and some mint, which is going to get chopped up nice and finely using a different cutting implement and placed into the salad. Once I've done this, we can then move on to the dressing. What one now has, apart from more coffee, is this lovely, fresh-looking salad base that can be used for all sorts of things through the coming week. However, if you leave it on its own, without any form of dressing, it will very quickly discolour and go off. Whereas with the dressing I'm about to show you, this will add a good couple of days stored in an airtight container in the fridge to its life. So we will move on to the dressing. Don't forget to fluff up your couscous. So the dressing, very simple. We take our lemon, chop him in half, and squeeze the juices out of this. I like using one of these little squeezy containers because that then allows me a receptacle into which I can make the dressing. Also stops all these nasty pips getting in there. Just check how much juice is actually in there. So it's a good juicy lemon, so the juice was sort of half a lemon. A good, probably about the same quantity of olive oil, comme ça, and some whole grain mustard. Just to give it a little bit, I put in just over a teaspoon of this. Give that a good stir. And basically, it just turns into a nice, fresh dressing, which is then decanted delicately and lovingly, like you're wooing it, over your salad. Then the salad and the dressing are then given a good mix. Like this. So we are left with an empty cup of coffee, not quite. This beautiful looking fresh Middle Eastern salad that can be used as the base of many, many things. I'm personally this week going to be putting it with some couscous and then also probably some tinned tuna or something like this, but other things are available. So I hope you have enjoyed, excuse me, this initial and informative an episode of Daff's Dishes, and it merely comes down to me to say thank you very much and good night.